Hello there, this is Glenn speaking. Now, you've heard me mentioning the better quality article directories, and I'm sure you've been asking, well, how exactly do they work? And more importantly, why on earth should we care? Well, let's imagine this scenario. We have a number of people that wish to write articles to promote whatever they wish to promote. Now, here we have Mr. Teacher. He is an expert in his field. He's been teaching for a many number of years. And because he's a teacher, a qualified teacher with experience, he knows how to write. Next here we have Mr. Baker, who is an expert baker. Don't get me wrong, he's an expert baker. Not quite so good at writing though. Now, not saying it's typical of all bakers, just this particular one baker. And then we have Mr. Businessman. He is an expert in his niche. Then we have Mr. Butcher down the bottom right hand. And he's an expert in multiple fields, not just in butchery, but maybe his hobbies, other interests, or maybe he knows other people that can write well that he can borrow information from. And now we have Mr. Policeman, who's heard of article directories, heard of article marketing. He wants to try and experiment with that to see how this all works and whether it's something that will work well for him. And so they all write articles. Mr. Businessman, Mr. Teacher and Mr. Butcher all write good quality articles as indicated by the green page. Mr. Baker writes a really bad article. It's very poorly constructed, bad spelling, bad grammar, really uninteresting. And then we have Mr. Policeman, who's written quite a good article. It's not the best in the world, it's not bad, just not brilliant. And so they write back to Mr. Baker via email and say, look, I'm sorry, but your article simply isn't up to scratch. We can't accept it in its present form. You need to do an awful lot of work to actually get it up to the standard that we expect. And they'll email Mr. Policeman and they will say to him, not bad, not brilliant, but not bad. These are the recommended changes that we suggest, and hopefully you'll be able to improve the quality of your article and we can accept it. And as you can see here, there's 3 green articles in the article cloud in Easy Article Bank that have been accepted. Encouraged by this, Mr. Teacher, Mr. Businessman and Mr. Builder, they start writing more and more articles. Mr. Policeman in the lower left hand side, he writes backwards and forwards and eventually he has an article that is in the green, can be accepted. And Mr. Baker hasn't bothered getting back yet. And so Mr. Baker is never heard of again. Mr. Teacher, well, he's an expert in his field and he's written a considerable number of articles about his topic and builds up quite a large archive of those. Mr. Businessman, well, he doesn't have the school holidays, etc. to write, so he doesn't always have the time, but he's written some very good quality articles in his particular field, but not as many as Mr. Teacher. Now, Mr. Baker, he's written a bank of articles on a whole range of topics, as you can see there indicated by the multiple piles. And Mr. Policeman, he's got the information he wants. He's had an article published, he's quite happy with that, brags about it down the police station, or as we say in this part of England, down the nick. So he's happy, but he doesn't do much more than that one article. So that's how article directories work. They do all the sorting for us. They make sure anybody that writes a bad article is simply refused. The people that write good or quality articles are encouraged to write more and more articles. And if you're not quite such a good writer, you're encouraged and given information and support to write a much better quality article until it is accepted. And that's why we should be happy with the way that article directories work, and that's why we should care, because they do all the hard work for us. All we have to do is find a simple way of getting all these high quality articles that are brand new and fresh, not interesting ones that are old, but brand new and fresh, into our blogs. And that's where Slobs comes into the picture. Thank you very much for watching.